Good morning. I'm John Patak, and I'm the president of Honor Flight Chicago. It's a privilege to welcome everyone to Operation Eagle's Landing, our inaugural flightless flight. We are thrilled to be at Cantigny for this very special day. I would like to say thanks to the staff and volunteers at Cantigny Park and the 1st Division Museum for their support of Honor Flight Chicago and our mission. Most importantly, thank you to our veterans, our honored guests that are here with us today. At Honor Flight Chicago, our mission is to honor, thank, and inspire by building awareness and appreciation of the debt of gratitude America owes its veterans for their service and sacrifice. The centerpiece of our programming is the Day of Honor in Washington, D.C., visiting the memorials built in tribute to the service of our veterans from World War II, the Korean War, and the Vietnam War. As we assemble here today, we intend to honor our guests with a day of reflection and camaraderie, and for them to receive the day of gratitude they are so deserving of. Our focus is to make sure that our heroes and their service are remembered and deservingly appreciated. As we tour your memorials today, we will see the amazing symbolism in their design and the powerful words inscribed on their walls. One of those is at the Korean War Memorial, where it says, "Freedom is not free." At times, unfortunately for many, it may feel like we forget that or take it for granted. The work that we do honoring our senior war veterans has taught us something, and I want to stress this. We all have a great opportunity and responsibility to better show our respect and our appreciation for those who protect our freedoms, past, present, and future generations. Again, I want to thank everyone for coming out today, our veterans, their families, and our amazing volunteers. I just wish I could be there in person to express my gratitude. The team has a great program planned for you that I know you are looking forward to. And for our Vietnam veterans in attendance, let me say to you, a very heartfelt and long overdue welcome home. Welcome home. With that, I invite you to sit back and enjoy your day of honor, which will hopefully be a day to truly remember. Welcome to Honor Flight Chicago.
Hi, and welcome to Dulles International Airport. My name is Gerald Epstein, and I am one of the Honor Flight Chicago DC volunteer coordinators, and we are thrilled to be joining you today on your honor flight from Chicago. We wish you a very warm welcome to our nation's capital, Washington, D.C. So, welcome to D.C.!
Hi, I'm Mike Megel, retired Marine Corps Master Sergeant and member of the Honor Flight Chicago, Washington, D.C. leadership team. I'd like to welcome you to the United States Marine Corps War Memorial. I'd also like to thank you for your service and welcome home. Semper Fidelis. Hoorah!
The United States Marine Corps War Memorial was dedicated on November 10, 1954, the 179th birthday of the Corps. It honors all Marines who have given their lives in defense of the United States since 1775. This memorial was inspired by the iconic photograph of the second flag raising atop Mount Suribachi on February 23, 1945, during the Battle of Iwo Jima. The photo was taken by Associated Press combat photographer Joe Rosenthal. Although originally thought the 6 men captured in the photo consisted of 5 Marines and 1 Navy corpsman, interviews, research, and analysis of other photographs and video footage has brought about identification changes for historical accuracy. In conclusion, it was determined the 6 men captured in Rosenthal's photo were all Marines. The memorial was sculpted by Navy veteran Felix de Weldon.
I'm Doug Meffley, co-director of Honor Flight Chicago, and welcome to the Air Force Memorial, soon to be a part of Arlington National Cemetery. The most prominent feature here are the spires, built in a bomb burst maneuver on a platform that's raised to overlook the Pentagon in Washington, D.C. Please enjoy this memorial.
The United States Air Force Memorial was dedicated on October 14, 2006. It honors the service and legacy of the men and women of the United States Air Force and its heritage organizations. At the heart of the memorial are 3 stainless steel spires. The 3 spires soaring into the sky are fashioned after the contrails of the Air Force Thunderbirds as they peel back in a precision bomb burst maneuver during a flight demonstration. The spires are asymmetrical and dynamic, ranging in height from 230 to 270 feet tall. This causes the view of the memorial to be different at every angle. The number 3 is also resonant with significant associations for the Air Force, including their 3 core values of integrity first, service before self, and excellence in all we do. Granite walls to the north and south contain inscriptions describing the valor and core values of aviation pioneers supporting the Air Force and its ancestor military organizations. Positioned in front of the southern wall stands a bronze honor guard, maintaining a constant salute day and night to all members of the United States Air Force. In front of the northern wall stands a glass contemplation wall, a glazed independent panel portraying the missing man formation, flown in honor of a fallen Air Force member. It symbolizes the presence of all those who are gone.
Thank you for your service and welcome home. My name is George Carestas and I'm a National Park Service volunteer here in Washington, D.C. Over the last 20 years, it has been my honor to welcome over 30,000 World War II veterans to their memorial and tens of thousands Korea and Vietnam veterans to their memorial as well. And so today I say, welcome home.
The World War II Memorial dedicated on May 29, 2004, honors the service of 16 million members of the armed forces of the United States of America, including the support of countless millions on the home front, and the ultimate sacrifice of more than 400,000 Americans through stone architecture and bronze sculptures. The World War II Memorial recognizes the way America served, honors those who fell, and recognizes the victory they achieved to restore freedom and end tyranny around the globe. 12 bronze bas-reliefs decorate the walls of the memorial on either side as one approaches the ceremonial plaza. These reliefs chronologically highlight the experience of the war. They are placed in context with the battles being waged on land, sea, and air. 56 granite columns representing each U.S. state and territory at the time of World War II ring an impressive rainbow pool located in the heart of the memorial. References to theaters, campaigns, and battles, and 2 massive victory pavilions representing the Atlantic and Pacific theaters chronicle the efforts Americans undertook to win the war. Within the victory pavilions, a large rendering of the World War II Victory Medal is centered upon the memorial floor. As one glances over the rainbow pool from the balcony of the victory pavilions, your field of vision is captured by a wall of 4,048 gold stars on the west side. It reminds all of the supreme sacrifice made by over 400,000 Americans to make victory possible. This memorial is also a reminder to all that ordinary Americans can bring about extraordinary results.
Welcome to the Lincoln Memorial, honoring our 16th president. The marble statue of Honest Abe looks out over the entirety of the National Mall. This is a place where civil rights history has been made. It's also an occasional showplace for the Marine and Air Force drill teams who perform for our Chicago Honor Flight veterans.
Built in the style of the Parthenon, the Lincoln Memorial was dedicated May 30th, 1922. It has inspired generations. A 19-foot tall statue of President Abraham Lincoln gazes out from the solemn chamber of his memorial. Lincoln's imposing temple is surrounded by 36 columns, each representing a state in the Union at the time of his death in 1865. The interior of Lincoln's memorial features inscriptions of this revered president's most important speeches. On the left is the Gettysburg Address, and his second inaugural speech is on the right. Above these speeches are the murals named Emancipation and Unity. On the wall behind the Lincoln statue is an inscription that reads, "In this temple, as in the hearts of the people for whom he saved the Union, the memory of Abraham Lincoln is enshrined forever."
Hi, my name is Ralph Walton. I'm with the Korean War Veterans Memorial Foundation here in Washington, D.C. And our mission here with the foundation is to maintain this memorial, to honor, inspire, educate those who visit. And I just want to say thank you to all the veterans, Chicago Honor Flight, especially our Korean War veterans. This is your memorial. This wall, this field of service, the mural, it does belong to you. We wish you were here. Maybe one day you can come and visit. But thank you for your service. Welcome home. And we consider it no longer the forgotten war. And as long as this memorial stands, we'll continue to honor your legacy, your family, and show them respect and honor. Thank you.
The Korean War Veterans Memorial was dedicated July 27, 1995. It commemorates the service of millions of Americans and Allied partners who fought during the Korean War. The memorial's Wall of Remembrance contains over 2,400 photos selected from the National Archives of men and women who served in the Korean War. At the center are 19 stainless steel statues standing in a field of juniper bushes, representing a platoon on patrol, marching through rice paddies and over rough Korean terrain. Each statue stands over 7 feet tall and weighs nearly 1,000 pounds. The figures represent the Army, Navy, Air Force, and Marine Corps and are proportionate to the percentage of participation in the Korean War by each branch. When combined with their reflection in the Wall of Remembrance, there is a total count of 38 figures. This number represents the 38th parallel, which forms the border between North and South Korea. The newest element to the Korean War Veterans Memorial is a wall of remembrance featuring the names of more than 43,000 U.S. service members and Korean augments to the U.S. Army who perished during the war. The names are arranged in order of branch of service and rank to demonstrate to visitors how the war's burden fell unevenly across the military. Another important element of the wall is that the names of the U.S. service members and Korean augments to the U.S. Army are not listed separately. The Wall of Remembrance serves to remind those who visit the Korean War Veterans Memorial each year that freedom is not free.
This is the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Wall, dedicated in 1982. There are 58,000, more than 58,000 names on this wall of young Americans who died in a country far, far away. This, therefore, is a place of powerful emotion and solemn remembrance.
The Vietnam Veterans Memorial Wall was dedicated on November 11, 1982. It honors the men and women who died in the Vietnam War from 1956 until 1975. The memorial wall chronologically lists the names of more than 58,300 Americans who gave their lives in service to their country. 2 arms consisting of 70 panels each form a wide V shape, with the eastern wall extending toward the Washington Monument and the western wall directed toward the Lincoln Memorial. You will find a diamond shape etched in the granite next to those considered missing in action. You will find a cross if a person currently marked as MIA returns alive. A later plaque, dedicated on November 10, 2004, honors the men and women who served in Vietnam and later died from causes related to the war. Young men, armed and wearing jungle combat gear. The 3 servicemen statue dedicated on November 11, 1984, stands as a permanent watch over the wall. While there are distinguishing characteristics for each man, they still feel like they could be any Marine or soldier. This statue grouping was the first representation of an African American on the National Mall. Dedicated in 1993, the Vietnam Women's Memorial portrays 3 women caring for a fallen soldier. It pays tribute to the more than 265,000 women who served during the Vietnam era and is the first memorial in Washington, D.C., honoring women's military service.
Well, hello there. My name is Jeff Joyce. I'm a volunteer with Honor Flight Chicago for at least the last 15 years. I'm nicknamed the Cookie Monster because I love to search for spare cookies on the buses. I'm also a docent at the Stephen F. Udvar-Hazy Center, which is where we're at today. The Stephen F. Udvar-Hazy Center is actually part of the National Air and Space Museum. We like to think of it as one museum, two locations. We opened in 2003, and we have an amazing collection of aircraft and spacecraft from the Boeing B-29 Superfortress Enola Gay, which dropped the atomic bomb on Hiroshima, August 6, 1945, to the amazing SR-71 Blackbird spy plane of the Cold War that could fly at over 3 times the speed of sound, up to 85,000 feet. We have a commercial supersonic airliner, a Concorde. We also have the Space Shuttle Discovery, which flew 39 times into space between 1984 and 2011. So an amazing collection of 200 aircraft, 200 space artifacts from the early flight all the way up through the Korea-Vietnam War era and the modern military aviation. So I hope you enjoy this virtual visit to the Udvar-Hazy Center. Thank you.
Opened in 2003, the Stephen F. Udvar-Hazy Center, located next to Dulles International Airport in Northern Virginia, serves as a partner facility to the National Air and Space Museum, located in Washington, D.C. The two locations together attract more than 8 million visitors per year, making the National Air and Space Complex the most popular museum in the United States. This expansive museum consists of 3 hangars. The Boeing Aviation Hangar houses dozens of historically significant aircraft and artifacts, including the Lockheed SR-71 Blackbird and the Concorde. The James S. McDonnell Space Hangar houses dozens of spacecraft, including the Space Shuttle Orbiter Discovery. A more recently added hangar, the Mary Baker Engine Restoration Hangar, is where scientists and engineers work to restore artifacts from the Air and Space Museum's massive collection.
Thank you for spending time with us today at your memorials in Washington, D.C. Now it's time to board our flight back to Chicago for the rest of your Day of Honor.
I do to Honor Flight. Welcome to Eagles Landing.
My name is Doug Meffley, co-director here at Honor Flight Chicago. Edna Ho is my co-director. On behalf of our board of directors, our over 1,000 active volunteers that we have, and our over 12,200 alumni, of which you are all now part of that Honor Flight Chicago family, we want to say thank you for your service, and we want to say welcome home, and welcome here to Cantigny. We're so excited to have you a part of our inaugural Operation Eagles Landing Gratitude on the Ground. And with that, I want to let you know this is the 20th anniversary of the Honor Flight movement in general. This all began back in 2005. And Honor Flight Chicago came along 3 years later. We are proud to be the largest hub of every hub in the entire country, of which there are 130. And again, you are now part of our Honor Flight Chicago family. We've got a wonderful day planned for you. Our volunteers have gone all out to make sure that you have the best experience possible, the experience that you earned through your service and sacrifice for our country.
Thank you, Doug. Well, to start our program off, we're going to do our flag ceremony. So I ask that you stand if you can, and as we post the colors, going to be the American Legion post. It's post 556, it's based here out of Cantigny, and they'll be posting colors for it.
Ready, post. Turn your rings.
And now we're going to have our national anthem sung by Nancy from Sweet Reminders, and I'll turn the mic over to her.
Present. On.
Say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets rang clear, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Forward. Amy.
All right, we have a special group of volunteers within Honor Flight Chicago, and that's our Operation Climb students, and they're going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And from the American Legion, who is going to lead us in the invocation.
Heavenly Father, we invite your presence. Be with us this morning as we honor our veterans and our heroes. Be with us as we honor our veterans of wartime. Teach us how to care for those who have borne arms in our name. Be with us as we honor our veterans of peacetime. Teach us to care for all who step forward, even without the certainty that all will remain calm. Spirit of love, war is never holy. Help us to remember that each of those who are called to service is a beloved soul. Be with us as we strive to create a community which is good and safe enough to welcome them home. Help their souls to heal so that they may know themselves to be both holy and whole. O powerful Lord, glory be to your holy name. Thank you for the veterans that fought for us. Thank you for bringing these heroes home safely to us. Surround their lives with your peace and protection. Lord, let them feel your presence and enjoy their day at Honor Flight. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Don. Obviously, we're here today to honor you veterans that have been able to join us today, and we really appreciate that. But part of the day that our veterans do spend in Washington, D.C. is remembering our comrades who either did not make it back or were unable to attend the flight. So we now would like to do the POW-MIA recognition. Before we get into that, I just wanted to do as a reminder, when you think about the POW-MIA, as a matter of fact, somebody referred to the table as the white table. It's not the white table, it's the POW-MIA table. And that represents those veterans who served but never returned home. I'd like to draw your attention now to the POW-MIA table. It's very symbolic, and all of us who served in the military know that we're all about traditions and symbolism regarding our veterans and their service. And the table itself, you'll notice that it's round and smaller than the others, and that's to show our everlasting concern and symbolizing the frailty of one prisoner alone against his or her oppressors. The tablecloth is white, symbolizing the purity of their response to our country's call to arms. The empty chair directs an unknown face, representing no specific soldier, sailor, airman, or Marine, but all who are not here with us today. The napkin stands for the emptiness these veterans have left in their hearts, of their families and friends. A single red rose reminds us of their families and loved ones. The red ribbon represents the love of our country that inspired them. The candle symbolizes the everlasting hope for their return and determination to account for them. A slice of lemon reminds us of their bitter fate, captured or missing in a foreign land. A pinch of salt symbolizes the tears of their families. We'd like to have a moment of silence for our comrades who are still missing and not returned home as of this moment. One last item on our table is the inverted water glass, to symbolize that they cannot be with us to share a toast. So please join us in a moment to honor our comrades, raise your glasses in a toast, and a hope for their soon return. Hear, hear. I'd like to now draw your attention to your right, the windows. We are going to have the American Legion do a 3-gun volley, followed by taps.
Fire! Ready! Fire! Ready! Fire!
Left, hey. Broad step, march. Do the second.
We want to welcome up to the podium the Cantigny Operations Manager, Phil Roberts, to say a few words, and again, our huge thanks to Cantigny for allowing us to have this event here.
Tim Knight, the McCormick Foundation CEO and President, unfortunately couldn't be here today, and he regrets that, but I'm honored to take his place. Our attempt is to remind guests that our dedicated men and women who serve the Constitution do so to keep us free. And again, thank you for your service. You fellows that were in Vietnam, welcome home.
All right, you ready, Lisa? All right, everyone, hand salute. Veterans, hand salute.
Oh, look at, they're smiling. Very nice. Very nice.
Wonderful, too. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Sir, ready? That. 2, 0, 1, 4, 1. Air Force Senior Reserve Officer Training Corps. Thunder Rifles armed the expedition team from Western High School, Aurora, Illinois. We respectfully request permission to utilize your drill floor. Sir! Thank you, sir. Order. Arm. Up, 2, 3, 4. I'm here. My mission is to fight with. I'm able to have a tradition of honor and a legacy of valor. I'm here. Party of freedom and justice, our nation's sword and shield, its century and defenders, I defend my country with my life. Forward, march! Eyes, right! Ready, right! Team, up! I'm here! Waiting, leader, warrior! I will never leave the air behind! I will never falter, and I will not fail. Showtime. March. Left, 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 right, left, 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 right, left. About face. Under. Red pose. Reach forward. Out. C-130 rolling down the strip. Thunder rifles on a one-way trip. Thunder rifles have completed your routine. Respectfully request permission to exit your drill floor, sir. Thank you, sir. By the left flank. Left! Right. Forward. Right.
So again, please continue eating, and it is my pleasure to introduce to you our keynote speaker, Terry Gaynor. So Captain Gaynor enlisted in the Navy in January 1967 with the intent of being a hospitalman. A year after completing training at Great Lakes Naval Training Center, he was accepted into a reserve officer training program requiring him to complete college as a Navy reservist. He was then commissioned an ensign in April of 1970 and assigned to the USS Beagle Grove LSD-32. In 1971, Lieutenant Junior Grade Gaynor, now a surface warfare officer, volunteered for duty in Vietnam. As part of the Military Assist Command, he was assigned to the Coastal Surveillance Center in Quy Nhon, Vietnam in 2 Corps. After release from time duty, Captain Gaynor remained in the Navy Reserve, serving in a variety of operational and administrative positions, including Commanding Officer, Assault Craft Unit 2 in Coronado, California. And after 33 years of Navy service, he retired in the spring of 2001. Gaynor spent 22 years on the Chicago Police Department force, was director of the Illinois State Police for 7 years, followed by 4 years as the Executive Assistant Chief of Police in Washington, D.C. And after the attacks of September 11th, was appointed Chief of the U.S. Capitol Police, finally concluding his national service as the 38th U.S. Senate Sergeant at Arms. So it's our pleasure to introduce to you Mr. Terry Gaynor.
First, I really want to thank the Honor Flight Chicago for allowing me to come and spend some time with you. It's a privilege to be with fellow veterans. And so I thought what I'd try to do today, ever so briefly, is maybe talk a little bit about the family aspects of being a veteran, and maybe give a little personal insight of a couple things that I saw or learned in the District of Columbia, where my wife and I spent some 20 years at those various law enforcement positions out there. When you first mentioned I was the Senate Sergeant at Arms or the Chief of the Capitol Police, those really aren't positions anybody would really know anything about up until the January 6th assaults, when the attack on the Senate and the Capitol out there. And I'll go back over that a little bit. So it shocked all of us. I had spent some nearly 15 years policing in DC, and we never anticipated that type of, I don't have any problem calling it an insurrection, and how it turned out to be. But that event, like time in the service, was very meaningful to me because as so many of us talked about earlier, lost people in the service, I lost friends who were injured and died in that January 6th attack. So all that's kind of personal, which gets back to this family thing. So my wife is here, Irene, of 56 years. Irene, wait a minute. Because I think it's important also to remember any of our service in the military really in the house, either parents you left, or honeys you left, or boyfriends and girlfriends you left, and then as you live through your military experience, it's the family you're with now. And so I was in college. My wife and I had just met in high school. It wasn't part of our plan to stay together 56 years. We didn't have that vision she may have. Nor did I anticipate that I would suddenly quit college and join the Navy. It surprised both my girlfriend Irene and my mother. But I desperately wanted to be in the service, and I think it was because I had spent so much time around my father, who served in the South Pacific in World War II. Now the interesting thing about that, I come from a family of 9 brothers and sisters. My father was drafted into the Navy late in 1944 when he and his wife, my mom, already had 5 children. So we saw the straits for you World War II veterans. Thank you so much for what you're doing. And it was watching all those Navy films on our small TV later with my father when I said, this is something I want to do. So we're those World War II veterans. God bless you. Thank you very much. So I did go to Great Lakes Training Center, which my father went to. So I thought it was ironic. I happened to have gone there. Some of you I see went to Great Lakes. And wherever you were, I happened to wind up at Great Lakes in January, February, and March. And I think all I did there was shovel snow. How that was going to get me ready for anything in the military, I'll never know. And when I went aboard my first ship where I thought I was going to be a hospitalman, all I did was chip paint. And I said, okay, this was not the vision I had for the heroics I was going to do as I saw those servicemen in World War II. Fortunately, I sometimes think the Navy and others were lowering their standards during Vietnam when it got so busy, and they said, we're going to send you, you're not much of a ship painter, we don't think you'd make anything of a foreman, so we're going to send you back to college and we'll make you an officer. And for any of my former enlisted friends know the value of an officer. They said, okay, we can afford to send this dummy and maybe make him an officer. They did that. I went on active duty. Again, my wife and I are now married, and I surprised her by saying, there's an opportunity for me to finally get to Vietnam, where I wanted to go. I wanted to go for a lot of reasons. I thought it was what we were supposed to do. I had lost a cousin and a classmate there was killed as a Marine, so I volunteered for that. And the captain I had, who later became an admiral, wouldn't let me volunteer. He said, until I talk to your wife. We already had 1 child. So in fact, my wife and our 9-month-old son came aboard our ship, talked to the captain, and talked to him about why I wanted to go to Vietnam. And they finally approved it. I thought it was a good idea at the time. It was an interesting short tour, only about 7 months. We do have some sense of humor in the military, right? I say when I left Vietnam in July of 1972, I had a bumper sticker that said, we were winning when I left. Which we know, of course, was not true. But I did stay in the reserves. I enjoyed every minute of both active and inactive duty, and it was because of the people I served with. And again, spending those last 23 years across different units in different cities and different states, I met a lot of different people with whom I still stay in touch. And that's the interesting portion of this about family. Every time we get together, and it's not all that frequent, and it may be a year or 2 in between where I'll bump into someone, it's like family. You know, you may not see anybody but for Thanksgiving or Christmas, and once you sit down, you exactly remember where you left off. And my wife Irene would often say, after I get together with a group like this, and she says, you always seem to regress when you get together with all your old veterans. Remember about the best times and the worst times. and I think that's true. But I think that's part of being family. And every place I go, I look for an opportunity, whether it was on the police department or out in Washington at those various jobs, to try to look around and find a fellow veteran or someone who's involved with veteran, either their parents and a loved one, and spend some time talking about that. So let me switch a little bit and talk about something that happened to me in the Capitol. I first was the chief of the Capitol Police out there. And as a rule, in uniform, you're not ever on the Senate floor or the House floor. You know you're supposed to be in the background, except again, January 6th, which we could talk a long time about. But when I was ultimately appointed the Senate Sergeant at Arms, I now wore a suit, the chief law enforcement officer, and kind of running all the back of the house things at the Senate. Well, on the first week or so, I would spend a lot of time on the Senate floor. And I wanted to introduce myself to the senators because I was responsible for their security, as well as a lot of other things they needed to make their offices run well in either Washington or their home offices around the United States. And one I definitely wanted to go up to was Senator John McCain, for a couple of reasons. Number one, he was a Navy officer. Number two, he served in Vietnam. Number three, he was in Vietnam, as you may remember, was captured and a prisoner of war for 7 years. And I did do a return visit with another group of veterans on a, frankly, kind of a CIA mission back to Vietnam. And I went to the place where the senator had been shot down, and I did go to the Hanoi Hilton and had some inside looks there. And I wanted to talk to Senator McCain about that. So I went up to him on the Senate floor. He had been talking to a couple other senators, and you try not to interfere. I waited for the right moment, and I went up and I said, "Senator, excuse me, can I talk to you for a minute?" Now, if you remember a little bit about Senator McCain, he wasn't the most warm and fuzzy guy you'd ever want to run into. I thought he was a heck of a senator. He'd done a lot of things that I thought were great, some things I didn't think were so great, but he wasn't warm. So I went up to him and he stopped and turned. I said, "I want to introduce myself. My name is Terry Gaynor. We have a few things in common." And he said, "Okay, Terry, what's that?" I said, "Well, I'm your new Sergeant of Arms, responsible for your security." And I could tell, he was looking over my shoulder thinking, "Okay, thank you very much, Terry. What's next?" And I said, "And by the way, I was in the Navy. I'm a retired Navy captain." And he stopped a little bit, and I thought he became a bit more attentive because I think we had something in common, a fellow veteran. And he said, "Where were you stationed?" And I said, "Actually, I too was in Vietnam. I was in the Sec 2 Corps, Wheaton, of the South Central Park, at a coastal surveillance center base where we had some PT boats and swift boats. And we talked briefly about that. And then he said, "When did you leave?" And I said, "I left in July of 1972. And he just paused for a second, and he turned and started walking away. And I felt maybe somehow I insulted him. And he suddenly turned and said, "Why did you leave me, Gaynor?" And laughed. And it was awesome to see this guy who had spent those 7 years in that penitentiary still had a sense of humor about it and relate to a fellow vet. I thought that was pretty neat. So I thought he was a pretty terrific guy, and well, I guess that's an old vet story. But if you wouldn't mind, one other thing, and I don't like telling a lot of in-house stories over there, but it's fun to do because who'd have thought a kid from the south side of Chicago, 1 of 10, would ever be up with this group of individuals with some of the responsibilities they gave me. I never thought about that. And be involved in some pretty important things. And one of them, if I'm not taking too long, right? One of them is the following. It was interesting, President Obama, or then Senator Obama from Illinois, ran against John McCain, and he won the election. At the inauguration, the Senate Sergeant at Arms the Senate side is really in charge of running the inauguration with a whole lot of people. It's about a year in practice in getting ready to do that inauguration. And you may remember from that one that there was some 1.2 million people on the West Front. So there's a lot of coordination, a lot of timing that goes into that. And one of the duties I have had as the Sergeant at Arms is a escort, a paid escort. And you would make sure if the head of state came or the president's moved, we were responsible for the security in the building, even with Secret Service. It is the Capitol Police who provide that, and the Capitol Police who work for the Senate and House Sergeant at Arms. So one of the things we had to do as part of this ceremony was to escort the president right down to his seat. So that was pretty heady for me. Again, if anybody saw any of these inaugurations, get him down to his seat, the whole ceremony goes on. I go back and sit about 10 rows back, waiting for it to be all over. My job is, right as soon as the speeches are done, to come down and say, okay, Mr. President, it's time to go. Because presidents and senators, they're all looking for, what do you want me to do, where do I go? So, escort him, and there's, Irene would have a nice seat there too, I might add. So we escort him back up, and it's freezing cold in January there, and it was like obviously the 21st, I guess. And it's very cold being out on that stage, as comfortable as they try to make it. And we just get inside those doors, up the steps that you saw on January 6th, that was the center of where one of the attacks was, just to try to give you some perspective. So I escort the president up there, and the person with me is President Bush, who I got to know a little bit because he'd been out there. And that's the other fun part, seeing these men and women who are leading our country in different lights than you may just see how they act on TV. But we get inside the door there, and everybody's trying to, their wives are there, and myself. There's a lot of people around, everything's choreographed. And the first thing President Bush says to me is, where am I going? And I turned to him and I said, you're going home. And he said, thank God. And so we had to walk up the steps, 2 steps to get to the rotunda, to go off to the east side of the Capitol, where a helicopter would come to take President Bush and his wife out. So we go up there, and just before we get to the curtain that would take you out onto the rotunda, I turn and say, okay, once we go through here, this time, once we're in and up there, they're not on camera. So I said, once that curtain opens, you're on camera again, so get yourself ready, comb your hair, fix your coat, do whatever you're gonna do, fix your tie, because we're going live. And as we're standing there, President Obama, brand new president, who I knew a little bit from Illinois, but got to know him while he was a senator, he says, Chief, he would call me Chief from my police days, Chief, can I talk to you for a minute? This is before we go through. And I said, sure, Mr. President. What? And we kind of stepped aside a little bit, and he said, is it okay if I walk President Bush down to the helicopter? And I was going through my mind, we rehearsed this for a year, cameras, positioning, security, snipers, counter snipers, shooters. It's worked out to the second. And I said, no, you cannot. You just need to walk them down to one of those levels. Again, on the east side, there's 3 levels. If you can kind of picture, again, January 6th, where a lot of fighting happened there, but just to give you perspective. And I said, no. About 2 or 3 seconds later, he said, yes, but can I walk them down to the helicopter? And I said, Mr. President, no. You are just, you and your wife, say goodbye to them at that second landing. Thinking, okay, now it's time to go, and the President Obama says to me, but Chief, can I walk them down to the helicopter? Now again, it's starting to sink in. The President's asking me this, and I finally say to myself, yes, you can do it. And he did, in fact, the first time ever it was done, he and his wife, that's the type of people both of them are, and Mr. and Mrs. Bush, they did walk him down and have their own personal goodbye there. And I thought that was pretty special that he wanted to do it, and pretty special the way it came off. But now let's think of my position on this. I'm thinking to myself, a kid from the south side of Chicago, one of 10, not highly educated, but I think to myself, I'm the first person in the free world to tell the President of the United States no. But then shamefully I said, I'm the first person in the free world to buckle and say, yeah, go ahead and do it. But yeah, come on, I'll let you. But I guess the point was this, I think the military, from the Great Lakes training in 1967 through OCS and through all those formations and all those parades and things we did and the camaraderie helped prepare me for that. And I think it looked through this audience, and I read the little bios you gave to try to understand more about you, whether it was World War II or Korea or Vietnam or your service in Germany or Alaska or any of those places, how it made the people we were. And you remember, I'll just end this right now, I think I can. Do you remember the movie Saving Private Ryan? Now, who hasn't seen that at least 1, 2, or 10 times? You remember finally at the end where Private Ryan is now back some 40 years later, and he's going to the cemetery, and he's looking for the captain's grave. And he goes up there, and very solemn, gets down and prays a little bit, and then he's crying, and his wife walks up, and he says, did I live a good life? Was I worth it? And I thought that was a pretty powerful moment, and I always think to myself, through my service career and what I've done now, have I done well? Did I lead a good life? And again, based on what I know about all the veterans and the families I've been with over these 40 plus years, and what I read about you and the little conversations I've had with you, I think you've all lived a good life. Welcome home, and thank you for your service.
Now, since we're here at the Museum of the Big Red One, I also searched through everything and found out that one of our veterans in the room, at least, served with the Big Red One. So we do have a participation in that as well. Now, those of you that are your guardians for your veteran, and your ambassador kept annoying you and saying, send me those pictures, send me a little bit of history about your veteran, please tell me why, what they did. Well, the main reason for that is so that we could do this presentation. We're going to start with our World War II veterans, and then we're going to move on to the Korean veterans and then the Vietnam, and we'll be doing this by alphabetical order.
Mr. What you callin', what you doing tonight? Hope you're in the mood because I'm feeling just right. How's about a corner with a table for two, where the music's mellow and some gay rendezvous? There's no chance romancing with the blue attitude. You gotta do some dancing to get in the mood. Sister, what you callin', that's a timely idea. Something swinging dilla would be good to my ear. Everybody must agree that dancing has charms. When you have a certain one you love in your arms, standing out with you and making sweet interlude. I found the rap that would put me in the mood, in the mood. That's it, I got it, in the mood. Your ear was spotted, in the mood. I want a hot hit, be alive and get the jive. You got to learn how. Hep, 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 hep like a heifer, hep, hep, hep. Hot as a pepper, step, step, step. Step like a stepper, we're mugging and hugging, we're in the mood now.
I have a question for you. When you were in the service, overseas, on a ship, wherever you served, what were your 2 favorite words to hear besides hot shower?
Come on.
Mail call, mail call, mail call. We have mail call for each and every one of you. So our first name is Carl Baker. Carl's right here. All right. Frank Brockway. Honor Flight Chicago Operations Eagles Landing. What a day we've had. What a day we've had. We asked you to leave your home, to get up early, and gather with our fellow veterans here at Cantigny, and you did answer that call, and we appreciate that. This program represents the depth and breadth of our mission and how our goal to honor, thank, and inspire our senior heroes has grown. We couldn't have done this without our volunteers, without our board, our partners like Cantigny, our donors and sponsors, our guardians, and you all, our honored gracers here today. So on behalf of all of us, we want to say thank you for your service and welcome home. Welcome home.
Too. And look at look at your big sign.
What is this?
I Right, keep going. Take a picture in front of your side.
How you doing, Taylor?
Your home's not to work. Wayne.
Hey! Whiskey Mike!
Thank you very much.
Carry on.
Thank you.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sir.
Thank you.
Better than we got back the first time.
Yeah.
We got nothing the first time.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
You're good? Welcome home.
Thank you. Thank you very much. How are you?
Good to see you guys.